Coloradans could soon have a harder time getting the hepatitis B vaccine as the Trump administration's anti-vaccine crusade expands well beyond COVID shots. A federal vaccine advisory board is nearing a vote that could change access to the Hep B vaccine that's been recommended for newborns since the 1990s. The CDC's Advisory on Immunization Practices, or ACIP, has been recommending sweeping vaccine policy changes this year. Anti-vax activist turned health secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. fired the entire 17-person board and replaced them with his loyalists. That panel was supposed to vote today on whether newborns should get the hepatitis B vaccine at birth. They ended up pushing the vote to tomorrow. Hep B can be passed from mom to baby during childbirth, leading to liver disease, even death. There's no cure. The dose for newborns is already optional, and extensive studies have found no evidence that a dose at birth causes short or long-term health problems. The American Academy of Pediatrics says they will still recommend the newborn dose. And we spoke to a pediatrics professor at CU Anschutz who says the Trump administration's actions are just going to create unnecessary confusion for parents.
They are considering rolling back a proven strategy with the hepatitis B vaccine that we've been using for over 30 years, framing it as if there's new evidence to make a different recommendation is misleading. The evidence that's being presented this week is not new. These are not data and information that we are suddenly finding. We have considered all of these things in our recommendation that all newborns receive the hepatitis B vaccine at birth as a safeguard to prevent cancer.
For a relatively obscure medical board, their recommendations carry a lot of weight. Earlier this year, ACIP's recommended restrictions on COVID vaccines caused chaos for health providers and patients who had to scramble to figure out whether doctors then needed to prescribe the vaccine and whether insurance would cover the cost. Tina Peters' attorney said today he is very optimistic that something is in the works to free her from prison, where she's serving time for tampering with Colorado's election systems. And he agreed that military tribunals and mass hangings are coming, issuing a direct warning to the judges and elected officials keeping Peters in prison.
You've done it. And don't think that there are going to be no consequences for it, because I don't care if you're a judge, I don't care what you are. If you're a traitor to this country, you don't get excused because you have a black robe on or because you're a secretary of a state someplace. You better wake up.
Tina Peters' attorney, Peter Tickton, was on today with MAGA podcaster Joe Oltmann from Douglas County. Peters, of course, was convicted by a Republican district attorney and a jury in Mesa County for tampering with voting systems in an attempt to prove President Trump's claims of election rigging. Oltmann, who is a close ally of Peters, has publicly called for the executions of Colorado's Democratic governor, Secretary of State, and Attorney General, saying they are a, quote, synagogue of Satan Jews. Today, Oltmann and Peters' attorney talked about their shared vision for civilians to be rounded up, tried by military tribunals, and executed.
Why is the Insurrection Act not on the table? Why are we just not getting to the fact where we have military tribunals and 50,000 people that would get rounded up and we can just have a hanging party?
It's coming. It's coming with the evidence. It's coming with the proof.
We have had the proof for 4 years.
President Trump has railed against the state of Colorado for months for not releasing Peters on his demand. Trump cannot pardon the former elected clerk of Mesa County because she was convicted on state charges. Peters' attorney, who you saw there, also recently endorsed the idea of Trump sending in the military to free her from the prison in Pueblo, where she's serving a 9-year sentence. If you got popped for one of those $340 photo radar tickets in the small town of Kersey in Weld County, fight it. The town has stopped issuing those possibly illegal tickets after we started asking questions, but they're still asking the people who got the tickets to pay. A bunch of those people came to argue their case today, and our consumer investigator Steve Steger was there.
He immediately sent a text message to my daughter to say, do you need a loan to help pay for this or something?
She might, because the ticket Tom Tyner got in the mail was for $340 from the town of Kersey.
I was holding her accountable, and she, to her credit, being 18 years old, took full responsibility.
By then, it was too late.
And then we got another one a couple days later, and then another one a couple days later, and then a fourth one.
3 more captures from Kersey's photo radar camera, all taken before the first ticket even arrived at her dad's mailbox.
You know, it's tough when you don't have that notification. You can't change your behavior unless you know what's going on.
But that's a story for another day.
I happened to catch the news segment, and it couldn't have come at exactly the right time.
This is a story of Tom's letter asking the town to reduce the $340 tickets to $40, since Kersey's own photo radar law caps the fine at $40.
The response I received was, we are interpreting the ordinance in a different way, and we believe that this is an accurate assessment of the fine.
Logic that goes a little something like this.
What the police departments and town decided to do is to utilize our adopted fines and fee structure.
That's Kersey's police chief, Jonathan Lang, today in a hearing on another $340 ticket. He's arguing that since state law exempts photo radar infractions clocked at 25 miles per hour or above, the town can charge what they want.
They've cobbled together various pieces of code and statute, and they've said, this is how we're doing it.
Civil rights attorney Omid Azmuda says you can't choose your own adventure when you issue someone a fine.
It is a basic principle that if the government is going to punish somebody, what's unlawful, the conduct that's unlawful, needs to be written down.
He says anyone with one of these higher tickets should keep fighting it.
You're very popular right now.
Like Denny did in this hearing this morning.
I don't believe the town's ordinance allowed for a fee of more than $40. That's my only argument.
And the hearing officer agreed.
My position with respect to this, the code language and the statute, is that the city is limited to a $40 maximum fine.
Tom was hoping to avoid the trip, but it sounds like he'll be doing it anyway.
You know, my daughter's 18 and she accepted full responsibility. I'm not sure why the town council can't admit responsibility, say there is ambiguity. We apologize. Here's what we're going to do to get this taken care of.
So the moral of the story here is if you have one of these $340 tickets and the police will not reduce it by email, by phone, or by mail, I'd recommend coming here for your hearing so you can argue the case yourself. Still in Kersey. For Next, I'm Steve Stager.
We're going to let Steve just buy a house in Kersey. It looks like a lovely town so long as you don't speed. Kersey's police chief still won't sit down and answer questions about this mess and what was legal, what was not. But he did send us data showing that the tickets, in their view, are causing drivers to slow down, because when this speed radar system launched in September, they were writing more than 1,800 tickets a day. Cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. Now it's less than 400. So as ski areas pray for snow, the city of Denver's finance team prays for the exact opposite, because plowing is expensive and the city is strapped for cash. Our Mark Salinger is standing out in the cold tonight to talk about snow plowing, because that's what we do on the local news. Mark?
Exactly, Kyle. You said it. Plowing is expensive. So if the city of Denver wants to save some money, hey, let's hope it doesn't snow much this year. A load in normal snow year, that costs about $12 million to plow streets. A big snow year, you need more plows and more people. The cost jumps to $25 million. Most of that cost comes from drivers and overtime, but the fuel, the plows, and the tons of salt that you need for the roads, that's expensive too. Denver just went through a round of layoffs and has been struggling to cut the budget for months. But you can't really cut snow plowing. People need their roads cleared. So yeah, there are probably people down the street at City Hall being like, hey, we could save a couple $1,000,000 if it just doesn't snow much this year. Hey, I also learned some stuff about snow shoveling today, and how the city of Denver handles that shoveling.
Are you good to just chill for a second? I mean, that's a bad cold pun. Are you good to chill? We got to hit a couple of other stories, and then we'll come back to you to talk.
It's chilly. It's
all right, we're going to talk.
It's chilly.
We'll talk shoveling in just a bit. Our Mark Salinger, we'll touch base with him in a sec. So state regulators are letting Xcel keep one of its coal-fired power plants up and running rather than closing at the end of the year as scheduled. Xcel says the Comanche 2 plant in Pueblo is going to be necessary to meet demand, while another larger coal-fired power plant goes through emergency repairs. Yesterday, Colorado's Public Utilities Commission gave the go-ahead for operations at Comanche 2 to continue through December of next year. The plant was supposed to be shut down at the end of this year as part of Xcel's deal with the state to phase out remaining coal plants and reduce greenhouse gas emissions. But Xcel abruptly changed course earlier this year when issues at another larger coal plant, Comanche 3, took that one offline. Xcel says they do not expect to get that plant back until June. The repairs are likely to cost millions of dollars, and customers could get stuck with a hefty bill. Yesterday, state regulators took Xcel to task for not providing even an estimate of what that will cost you.
I do find it a little bit bizarre that the company can come forward and say, yeah, we know what needs to be fixed and we're going to have it fixed by June. And oh, yeah, we have no idea what those costs are. I mean, how do you go into a project like this, a multi-million-dollar project, without even a ballpark estimate of what your costs are going to be, with the assumption that it's just going to be approved and passed on to ratepayers? I just find that mind-boggling.
Boggles the mind indeed. State regulators did put some restrictions on Xcel moving forward. They say that both plants cannot be open at the same time, and they're requiring Xcel to file regular updates about those mysterious repair costs. When we return, we will allow Mark Salinger to reclaim his time. He wants to talk about how Denver's budget problems are making it harder for people to shame their neighbors into shoveling sidewalks.
I think that what we do is amazing, but I didn't expect that kind of national recognition.
They might not get a shout out on the court, but their contributions to the game are undeniable. A behind-the-scenes broadcast team bringing home some hardware of their own. Next. So it used to be, if there were uncleared snowy sidewalks in Denver, it used to be you could call the city and get them to prod people into following the city ordinance or even get them ticketed. But Denver's budget troubles have led to a quarter of those inspection positions being eliminated. Our Mark Salinger is still standing out in the cold to talk about that. Mark?
Yeah, Kyle, you know that neighbor that never shovels? Well, now there's a pretty good chance that they could get away with it. The city of Denver cut 5 inspector positions this summer with budget cuts. They went from 19 to 14. So now those 14 people are in charge of inspecting 3,000 miles of Denver sidewalks. Spoiler alert, they can't. So now they're focusing on repeat offenders as well as high traffic areas. So we all know those people, and if you filed a report with the city, it might just be time to go knock on their door and tell them, hey, it might be time to shovel, get after it right now. But I also want to tell you about bike lanes.
I'm sorry, we've got to get to Chris Bianchi for the forecast, but we will get back to you, Mark. I promise you, you will get your full time sometime after Chris Bianchi's forecast. Hey, Chris.
Hey, thanks so much. Yes, I'm a bit more important on this one, no doubt about it. We picked up 4.3 inches of snow yesterday here in Denver, making it our snowiest day in over a year. That is entirely a commentary on how pathetic our snow season has been so far here in 2025. That the fact that 4.3 inches of snow, our snowiest day in Denver officially this calendar year, that's pathetic, but hey, I suppose we'll take it. We certainly needed the snow yesterday. We got a lot more on the way for us in the mountains. I will say this, if you're traveling to or from the mountains, try and get that done as early as possible tomorrow or on Sunday. It looks rough tomorrow night and especially on Saturday morning. That snow moves in tonight and into tomorrow morning for us in the mountains. Rabbit Ears Pass down through Berthoud Pass, that'll be heavy at times for us, but the snow will really pick up in intensity tomorrow night and into Saturday morning. And notice there's a lot of that blue, but this will also be accompanied by some 50 to 60 mile an hour winds, so that's going to make that travel very difficult in the mountains. Denver, maybe a stray rain shower for us on Saturday, but the wind will be the story for us here in town. But again, I would certainly advise against traveling through the main passes there on Saturday morning. In particular, tonight we drop back to 19 for us here in Denver. Fair skies, full moon tomorrow, 42 degrees, and that 7-day forecast. We start to see things get a little bit better for us in the mountains Sunday and into Monday. But again, travel not advised in the mountains on Saturday morning in particular.
You know what? Hardworking student broadcasters in Colorado, they deserve some recognition. So tonight, we're going to give it to them. And we will look at why Denver has such a hard time keeping its bike lanes clear of snow. Our Mark Salinger is still out in the cold to deliver that report. Next. There are some local TV news programs that make their poor reporters stand out in the elements, repeating the same information over and over and over again. Next does not do that. We're making Mark Salinger stand out in the elements all night to deliver 3 different stories about how Denver handles cold and snow. So Mark, I apologize. Please go ahead with that last report of the evening.
Finally, Kyle, I've been saving this bike for several minutes now. Denver's bike lanes need baby plows to keep them clean, but there aren't always enough of them. The tiny plows are the only ones that can plow the bike lanes, especially the small protected ones. Denver used to only have 2 tiny plows, 2. Now they're borrowing 3 more from the Parks and Rec department as the number of bike lanes around the city grows. So now 5 tiny plows, 556 miles of bike lane. The city says they can plow it at least once every 24 hours, but if it snows again, you're biking through it. So if you're biking in the winter, just know the baby plows are doing their best.
I think you truly have done your best. A patient man, Mark Salinger, outstanding in the field tonight for us. Thank you, Mark. So 25 years ago, I got my start in broadcasting at a fold-up card table on the sidelines of my high school's basketball games, just trying to learn how to speak into a microphone without crippling fear. Trust me, the kids who do it at Ralston Valley are way more talented.
We're at Ralston Valley High School. I'm a teacher for the elective, specifically computer science and media broadcasting. On this side here is our RVFX team. They're our advanced media broadcasts. They're the ones that put together all the video things for the video board down in the gym for all the live events. Yes, this is the board that we've been talking about. This is where all the magic happens.
So basically we just have these buttons here, which like if I just click, so we're working on those videos back in the HQ, if you could say.
Right now I'm making a animation for wrestling because we have the wrestling season coming up. I really like being behind the scenes and just getting to know kind of all the nitty-gritty stuff of how it works.
We have this one, where is she? Ella over here is our manager.
I don't know if I would give myself that formal title, but I try to organize like all of the students in this class. We found out that we won the Daktronics Award for Classroom of the Year. And if you don't know, Daktronics is the company that provides jumbotrons for usually sports venues or entertainment venues. So we won an award for like best high school classroom, which was shocking. I didn't expect that. That was our first year. None of us knew what we were doing when we came in.
I don't know, Ayla's probably the reason we won the award. Her videos are crazy good.
I'm just really proud of like all the work we've done as a team. I feel very proud of like the progress that we've made.
I'm just really proud of them because they continue to strive and do bigger and better things.
We are back with your feedback about how I have treated Mark Salinger tonight.
I came to tell you in person.
Next. Before we go, a word about why I wear this jacket on this particular day around the holidays each year. Longtime Next viewers know this is Doyle's jacket. He was a viewer of this program. When Doyle passed away 8 years ago today, his wife Connie sent me a letter, and she sent me the jacket, asked if I might wear it. When I first wore it and shared Doyle's story, so many of you generously donated to brain cancer research in his memory, and so many of you sent in notes for Connie, who then came on this program so that we could express our condolences to her and she could express her appreciation to you. The jacket reminds me of Doyle, of Connie, of your kindness, and of the fact that everyone is missing someone during the holiday season, but no one is alone. Well, except maybe Mark Salinger. He was alone outside repeatedly tonight, and a bunch of you are very upset with what we did. Text us, that was messed up the way you kept cutting off Mark. Keith, I can't believe you would jam him up like that. David goes, expert trolling, well done by all involved.